Ah, yes. Great content on Twitter.com. Nothing bad here. Hmm. Man, it's so great to see only good things on here. Nothing ever potentially wrong. Nothing ever goes wrong on Twitter. No bad news comes my way. Definite. Okay. Oh boy. Alright. I know what we have to talk about today. So, welcome back everybody. As you just saw, yeah, I am targeting Activision Blizzard basically. And I wouldn't be doing this very often if it wasn't for the fact that they are just paying out their, settlements and whatnot, and, by causing so much great harm. They're just like, yeah, 18 million. While Bobby Kotick makes like 154 million or whatever. I'm just like, guys, if you're going to fine them, it should be like an exorbitant amount. Like, it should be like at least a year of his salary, like, cause fuck you, Bobby Kotick. But yeah, anyway, let's hop into the news. There's some other good news, I swear. It's just that, once again, we need to talk about this because it is awful and it should never be perpetuated in the gaming industry. But because it is, we're talking about it. So, let's start off. Activision Blizzard settles with Federal Employment Agency for $18 million. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is filing a legal complaint against the company, but obviously you see that they just paid for it. So Activision Blizzard just put out a press release indicating that it has reached an agreement to settle the just revealed US EEOC lawsuit. It states in part, under the agreement, Activision Blizzard has committed to create an $18 million fund to compensate and make amends to eligible claimants. Any amounts not used for claimants will be divided between charities that advance women in the video game industry or promote awareness around harassment and gender equality issues, as well as company diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. As approved by the EEOC, the agreement is subject to court appeal. This is also a statement from the CEO. There is no place anywhere at our company for discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind. And I am grateful to the employees who bravely shared the experiences. I am sorry that anyone had to experience inappropriate conduct, and I remain unwavering in my commitment to make Activision Blizzard one of the world's most inclusive, respected, and respectful workplaces. And yeah, as I mentioned before, he's going to be receiving $154 million. So, like, I don't know what to say. Activision Blizzard is essentially just getting away with some of their crimes. Now, of course, California still has their case against them, so it's not all complete doom and gloom. It isn't just, they're just paying out to settle and that's it. They are at the least still being sued, but if it's that simple, like, to just get away from it, what's the point of it? 18 million is not going to cover the trauma that these people have faced and the discrimination they have, faced. It's just like, you can't just, no amount of, I guess, okay, maybe if you're set for life, you could do literally anything you want. Maybe that might be enough to fill your trauma in, but it's still not. It really isn't. It won't ever be. Like, the fact that there were cube crawls and the women were harassed, and even guys that didn't want to partake in it, but then were harassed for not partaking in it. You don't get rid of that trauma by money. Sure, it helps. Sure, being set for life, that would help, but like, that there's still trust issues that be underlying, issues with being with other people. There's no exact way that you can fix this by just throwing money at it, but Activision Blizzard's trying to, and I think at the very least 1 out of the 3. I don't know about the other one. I know at least California isn't saying you could just pay money and we'll be done. But yeah, I just hope that Activision Blizzard aren't given the opportunity to pay their way out of it, because if that's the case, what's the point of this then? I should just stop covering this, because then we know exactly what happens. But, I hope that Activision Blizzard pay for what they do, just not in money, or not necessarily just money, because they got a ton of shit that they gotta pay for. Next on the list, we're going to talk about how Netflix is now taking in gaming dev studios for their new, at least like, amendment to their service. So instead of just being, TV shows, movies, and stuff like that, now they want to expand into the game scene. And so, basically, Netflix acquires Oxenfree developer. I didn't play the game, but I've heard it was good, and it looks like Oxenfree 2 is probably going to be on the new Netflix platform, or gaming platform. And so, yeah. Oh, they also made After Party. Oh, cool. But anyway, yeah, so basically, Netflix is trying to expand their business by essentially buying a few new studios, and I think this is good for competition and whatnot, because now it's kind of Epic and Steam as the main platform. Stadia is basically a non-runner. Luna, I haven't heard much about recently, so I don't know how big of an impact they have. And so, yeah, Netflix actually, has a foothold in at least TV shows and movies, and they could probably transfer that technology into, online video games, and essentially what Google Stadia and Luna is trying to do. So, I think this is really interesting. I don't know though if this will satisfy the people that have Netflix. To be fair though, Oxenfree and After Party were more story-based games, so those that have a Netflix account might be more into the story and less into something like Doom Eternal or Apex Legends, Timefall 2, Call of Duty. So it's kind of like Bandersnatch or Black Mirror Bandersnatch. And like what they're trying to give content wise. So I think Netflix either will commission studios to make games that are like more story based, that don't require split second reactions, because we don't even have the internet to support that. But I think this is a really interesting move. So we'll see whether or not Netflix continues to either buy out more studios or commission them for certain games. Oh, and I know this isn't particularly big gaming news. I think this is funny nevertheless. Amazon is a step ahead of New World players trying to dunk on Jeff Bezos with their usernames. Honestly, I think they should have allowed it, but I mean, it's whatever. But I find it funny nevertheless. So, on the topic of New World though, MMO bugs. Yeah, it's nothing new. There's also on the first day of release, people were trying to, play the shit out of that game, and basically there were huge ass queue times, and then they had to add more servers, and so I mean that's just MMO stuff. I do find it interesting though that even Amazon, literally one of the biggest websites on the world, couldn't handle the traffic from New World players. So who knows? Maybe it was Amazon still kind of like underestimating the amount of people that were going to play, and so they didn't think they needed as many servers. Because keep in mind they have so much money, and the amount of people that pre-ordered that game. I just think that they could have had the server capacity, because at least they have the infrastructure from the Amazon website. But that's besides the point. But so new bugs, and I mean that's also kind of MMO stuff. But I'm really surprised that the game's doing as well as it is, to the point that it actually like the wait times weren't like, oh, you gotta wait maybe a few minutes because some other people are already on. It's like, yeah, you're gonna have to wait a long ass time. But so here, there's some bugs where you have like a 7-day death period, some you're just immortal, and so it's kind of interesting, but I don't know. I'm not into MMOs, so I'm not going to play New World. Who knows, maybe I'll play it later, but yeah. So, in the topic of studio acquisitions, PlayStation Studios acquires Manchester-based Fabric Games. Firesprite, the large Liverpool-based team bought by PlayStation earlier this month, has expanded further with the acquisition of Fabric Games. And so, yeah, now that they are 265 people strong, it is one of the largest development teams in the UK, and it's now also a first-party studio again. So, yeah, PlayStation seems to be buying a lot of studios now. I guess it's really just to boost the PS5 exclusive games, because Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, and the like are getting PS4, PS5 cross-gen games. And at this point, PlayStation really needs to be able to sell the PS5, because once the initial hype and people get there, the people that really want the PS5s get it, well, what's the point of getting it at that point? So at this point, they're going to probably start to ramp up the amount of games that come to the PlayStation 5. And so I think this is at least just one step to get integration of PS5 games onto the PS5. So it'll be interesting to see what they come out with. I'm not entirely sure, but for now, I haven't really been using my PS5. But that's also because of schoolwork, but we don't talk about that. Man, honestly, I don't remember the last time I talked about this. Yeah, I think it should have just been last month, but I swear, I don't remember this. But so anyway, for PS Plus players, the October lineup includes Hell Let Loose, I think that's a PvP game, Mortal Kombat X, fighter game, and PGA Tour 2K21, Ice League. Oh yeah, I also forgot. PlayStation officially acquires Blue Point Games, and the next game plan to be an original, not a remake. And so, yeah, as I said before, they're just trying to beef up their PlayStation, lineup for PS5 games. And Blue Point's a really good studio, particularly with the Shadow of Colossus and Demon Souls remake. Whew, I think they also did the Nathan Drake collection too. Whew, wee. The amount of games that these people can at least remake is really good. Now, of course, just because you can remake a game, that takes skill, right? I'm not saying that it's, so easy to do. I could do that, but like, it's a lot easier when you have the basis of something and then you can build upon it compared to, making a new game, an original. And so, while I have really high hopes, because, they were at least able to remake the games and keep the, soul of the games, will they be able to make a really good original one? I don't know. We'll see. And I do hope so, though, but I don't know. We'll see. So this is some pretty interesting news. Offline version of MMO Dragon Quest X hits Japan in February. Isn't the whole purpose of MMO supposed to be that, you grind a lot and you interact with other people? So I find this a little bit interesting. I guess if you want to play like a regular Dragon Quest game, they're going to have to like scale it down so you're not constantly grinding. So yeah, I didn't even know Dragon Quest X existed, because I played Dragon Quest IX on the DS, and yeah, I was like, wait, they went to Dragon Quest XI? I was like, oh, there was a Dragon Quest X, it was an MMO. Kind of like how Final Fantasy 14, is a thing. And so, when are you going to make a US release? At least for the offline version, because like, online version, you can say, oh, it's not popular in the US, people don't want to play a Dragon Quest MMO, online at least, but an offline version? I mean, you bring that over to America. I would definitely like to play it. But, yeah. Anyway, hopefully they'll, put it on the US market, but I don't think so. And in big esports news, this year's internationals, no in-person crowds. I'm a little surprised now, especially since, as it says, Valve refunds tickets for Dota 2 International just days before event. So I think this is pretty big, right? Because, people thought, oh, we're going to go to the internationals, and suddenly, days before it happens, they just refund the tickets. So, this is probably just, due to COVID restrictions and or, the potential, oh, people are going to spread COVID around, and yeah, shit's going to get really bad. So, yeah, I don't know. Besides the fact that I haven't played Dota in a while, and I really haven't watched the internationals recently, I don't know. But, so yeah, it's interesting to see how, even now, it's still affecting, even esports events, and I just don't know whether or not, certain esports will come back, fully. Because ALGS, for example, had to move online, and oh boy, that went poorly. It's still, of course, up and running, but it's not, if it was still in person, I think ALGS could have done a lot better. Rainbow Six Siege, I know their community kind of got shafted by the fact that COVID happened. So yeah, I guess the international has the ability to essentially refund the tickets and still be fine, and I can kind of see that. Dota 2 is a huge game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they could do this, keep people safe. And I think this is just going to be good publicity anyway, but so, I don't know. We'll see whether or not Valve gives, like, a full reason or not. Maybe we'll also see... Oh, wait a minute. So, yeah, Valve did give a reason. We have been carefully evaluating the continued rise of COVID cases in Romania, as well as the resulting introduction of new local restrictions in Bucharest. And so basically saying that we want to prioritize health. And so, yeah, basically it's good press, but also Valve is watching out for the fact that Bucharest, Romania is currently increasing in COVID cases. And, yeah, so basically at this point, the international is going to be online, but I mean, majority of people watched it online anyway, so it's not even, like, that bad. But, so yeah, pretty interesting news. And for today's final news, Halo Infinite is seeming to be getting a lot of good press. I think, Big Team Battle is doing really, really well, and not that I'm incredibly surprised, but I think it's really interesting to see how Halo is getting a lot of good press recently, from Skill Up, a majority of the Halo community, and so yeah, I think this is really good. At the very least, Halo Infinite's multiplayer seems to be doing really well. Now, what does that mean for the single player? I don't know. Who knows? But I do hope the single player does well. Of course, I don't want any game to do poorly, but we will see whether or not Halo Infinite's multiplayer and single player will both be lauded as, really great games, or if it'll only just be, the multiplayer being really good at this point. Or who knows, maybe even the multiplayer will fall off really hard and it won't be as good as, the single player maybe. Or both might be bad, who knows. But I do hope the game does really well, though, because I don't want any game to do poorly. Unless it's Blizzard and Activision, in that case, die. But, yeah, that's the news for this. So, that's the end of this week's news. A lot of the stuff was talked about, particularly with Blizzard Activision being a shitty company. A lot of acquisitions, actually. Quite a surprising few amount, actually. And COVID still reigns supreme in this world. So, yeah, I don't like it, but at the very least, there's some good gaming news, like Halo Infinite. Really good game so far. PlayStation is acquiring a lot more studios, kind of like what Microsoft did for the Xbox One. And, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how all this is playing out. I do wonder, though, if we will hear some more news in the fall, like, games getting announced by these companies or these studios that have been acquired, or if we have to wait till maybe like next year before we hear anything like, big news about, PlayStation's coming out with a new game. So we'll see if anything big happens. Who knows, though. But like, favorite, comment, and subscribe, and share the video because that would be greatly appreciated. I like the views. I like the money. And I don't make any on this. But so, I'd like to reach more of an audience, so do share the video. Anyway, I'll see y'all next week. Hopefully. Yeah, I hope I'll see y'all next week. And hopefully by then, well, actually, no. Yeah, no, so not next week, but the week after that, if I can get my hands on a special edition of Metroid Dread, I'll probably be streaming that, maybe, and I'll also be making a review for that. And that's what I said about Origami 2 and all these other games, but I don't know. We'll see.